Hello, welcome to the Divorce View talk show. My name is Joanie Winberg, certified human behavior consultant, divorce mentor, and CEO of the National Association of Divorce for Women and Children. I'm always honored to do this show with my fabulous partner and co-host, Rosalind Sedacca. Hello, Roz.
Hey there. Hi, Joanie. I'm Rosalind Sedacca. I'm recognized as the voice of child-centered divorce. I'm a divorce and parenting coach and founder of the Child-Centered Divorce Network for Parents. And I'm very happy to introduce you to our guest tonight because we're going to be talking about love and relationships. And his name is Bruce Starr. Bruce is recognized as the Luvcoach, and he does coach in relationship issues. He's an author, and he has a lot of interesting topics to talk to you about today that I think will get you thinking and stimulated. So Bruce, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself, and we can take it from there.
Well, first, ladies, I want to thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on the show, and it's an honor to be talking with people who, so many people are going through divorce, have been divorced, and are, quite frankly, worried about their future. And so I'm really glad to be here. I want everybody to know that I've been on a 38-year self-study on several different philosophies on life. And it first started, literally to help me learn more about girls and having more relationships. I admit it. But then my studies kept getting more and more detailed and more serious, and I started uncovering so much information from these many different philosophies on life. Like, for instance, in the 80s, I was introduced to these Course in Miracles classes, and someone brought me to a church in the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and there was Marianne Williamson teaching these the Course in Miracles classes, and she was my teacher and one of my mentors for years and years, and I learned a lot of things from her. And then it just went from one wonderful philosophy on life to another. And I think in 1993, I'd learned so much that I started feeling confident about sharing it. And I did two things. I started being a guest on radio shows, and that turned into me hosting my own show on WNN, what was then the Winners News Network. It was a wonderful station, and I loved listening to all the experts and their 2 or 3 minute vignettes. And I got a show on that station, and I loved it. Started doing local television, but the big breakthrough was a Hollywood TV producer friend of mine, when I went out to visit him, told me about America Online. What is that? He turned his computer around and he started showing me that if I wanted to reach people all over the country, I could do that by being on America Online. And for the next 10 years, I opened up a room called Relationship Coaching, and I had over 6,000 intimate, detailed, documented conversations with people from around the country. And I did that to help them, and I did help a lot of people. But what amazed me was, after listening to 6,000 stories, what I learned from them. And it helped me uncover some incredibly mysterious reasons why so many of us are having a tough time, and people in divorce having a tough time. So I'm really glad to be here to share what I learned with you today.
Absolutely. And the theme of our show today is, are you out of your mind to be in love?
Uh-oh.
And I'm sure our listeners are saying, at times I feel like I must be out of my mind to be in love. I'm having a hard time. I can't seem to find that one or make that connection. And as we all know, going into a new relationship after a first divorce, the divorce rate second time around is even higher, and even higher for third. So I sense that people want to prevent that, and say and feel that, hey, if I'm going to do this a second time around, I'd like it to stick, and I'd like to be in a relationship and not have to worry about that. So let's talk about that. Are you out of your mind to be in love, Bruce?
Well, I think what a great title. Oh, I made up that title. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like. Well, here's how that all happened. Okay, two ways. One was that what I learned from those 6,000 conversations was basically this: so many of us got our hearts broken when we were 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. It was a wonderful time, wasn't it? It was just great. We loved. There's nothing like it. You come from your heart. There's no holds barred. You don't have any old baggage, and it's just a really honest relationship. Hopefully, that people had. But if they had that relationship broken up by their parents, their first love broke up with them, the experience was so painful that I know for a fact that some men, if you want to know why so many men are so weird, so crazy.
You said that, we didn't.
and what happens after a divorce is, if you were their first love, that man may never recover. He doesn't have close, warm people that he can discuss his feelings with. I mean, you've never heard of Frank and Tony going down to the gym, and Frank saying to Tony, you know, Tony, I got my heart broken. I'm feeling really vulnerable, and my girlfriend doesn't love me anymore. You don't hear guys talking like that, okay? A lot of it is kept inside. And so guys have a really tough time when they get their hearts broken. So to deal with life and to deal with reality, what happens is they stop leaning with their hearts, and they start thinking about relationships and how they could make their life work without getting hurt anymore. And so relationships start going from choosing for what you feel to choosing to what you think might be the best deal for you. And then what happens is everything shifts, everything changes, everything happens from choices in their heads, and they start thinking about relationships. You can't feel up in your head. You can only feel from your heart and soul. So you have to be out of your mind to be in love. You have to get out of your mind. And another funny little story, my friend Mitch and I were driving down the street one day, and I see he's looking to make a U-turn at some place where he shouldn't be. I said, Mitch, don't make a U-turn here. The sign clearly says no U-turn. He says, look at that sign again. And I did. He said, no, U-turn. So there's lots of different ways that you can look at something like the title that I came up with, which is, are you out of your mind to be in love? Well, you have to be out of your mind to be in love. You have to rest that mind, and then you can move on.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I just wanted to say for our listeners here, if you see that when I'm speaking, the screen is black, is for some reason I'm frozen. But Roz, you're showing up, and so are you, Bruce. So, Roz, go right ahead.
Okay. So Bruce, we're coming out of a divorce or a serious breakup, and we're very jaded. We could be angry and bitter. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of drama in our lives. And if that's the case for the man as well as the woman, we have a real challenge there because we're not trusting one another. We're trying to one-up the other person and see if this relationship is worthwhile without getting hurt. We put up a block and a barrier about getting hurt. What kind of advice can you give us about how to approach new relationships after we've been hurt?
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I appreciate it. I want to explain to you about my pie theory in life. My pie theory is, let's go back to that 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. When you were in that relationship, you presented a whole pie tin. It was a nice big full apple pie or cherry pie, and when you went with that other person, you were saying, here, I present you with my entire pie. If you get your heart broken, you don't have that whole pie to offer anyone again. You have a lot less. And here's where people start making the big mistake. In order to cover up their bad feelings, their hurt, they start dating. And when you start rebound dating and dating, you're thinking about relationships, you're making the wrong choices, and you start thinking about what the person can do for you rather than having feelings for them. And that's where my book, Body Traders, comes in. Body Traders, people say, what is this title, Body Traders? What are you, a sci-fi writer or something? So no, it's not about that at all. What Body Traders kicks in is this. When you start thinking about relationships, you start compromising, you start going for the best deal. You know, go forward with your heart. Oh, aren't they nice? Aren't they sweet? I could really like them. No, when you think about relationships, you think about the best deal. If you're a man, you say to yourself, hey, I want to find the woman who has the prettiest face and the best body and who I can have the best sex with. And if you're stereotypically now, and if you're a woman, stereotypically now, you're going to maybe think to yourself, well, I'm going to find someone who can take care of me. I'm going to find a rich guy who drives the right car and who lives in the right house in the right neighborhood. Well, what you're talking about now is instead of loving each other, you're basically talking about trading what each one has to get what the other one has. That's horse trading. Or if you have enough of what I want, I'll give you what I have. And if you have enough beauty and sexuality, I'll offer you my finances. Well, that's a sad state that we all got into. And so what do? I strongly suggest that instead of taking that first step towards dating more and joining this service and that service, I strongly suggest that you not take that route. I suggest that you take some time to fill that pie, because that pie is half gone, 3/4 gone, and the next person you meet, what good is it if you offer them a quarter of a pie and they've got an empty pie? Because they've been dating and dating and dating. What I strongly suggest is get back into yourself. Get back into your heart, not having to do with anybody else, but get back into your own heart and your own soul. What I suggest people do, meditate. Take meditation classes. Take yoga classes. Go to astrology classes. Anything that will help fill your inner soul and your heart. And by the way, there's some wonderful people at those classes, at yoga classes. And you're not going, of course, looking, but what a great way to observe people and watch people and go to class each week and see the same people going. That's what I suggest. Don't try to trust people artificially. When you learn how to trust yourself and not make body trader choices and decisions, and you make choices out of your heart, hey, he's really sweet. Boy, she's really nice. I want to try to get to know him. That's how you protect yourself from making bad mistakes in the future, and take it slowly. Don't jump into bed. People who are really running on empty now, guys especially, the only way for them to feel like they can connect right now is if they can go to bed and bond with you that way. Well, they're running on empty. And don't fall for their rap. Come on, if you really like me, if you really love me, you'll go to bed with me. You know what? Communication stops on many levels when you go to bed too early, unless it's like the most incredible boom connection of your lifetime. Then I'm not saying to wait months and months, but if it's just you're wondering, take your time. Don't jump into anything, and learn how to trust your feelings, because don't worry about trusting your thoughts. Learn how to trust your feelings, your intuition.
Well, thank you, Bruce Starr, the Love Coach. We love your passion and enthusiasm for this topic. I have it as well.
So, Bruce, thanks so much for joining us and being on the show.
Thank you, Joanie. Thank you, Rosalind. I appreciate you having me. I love being here.
It was a pleasure. Until next week, look forward to seeing you all again. Bye-bye now.